Yeah, Pinball. You son of a gun. You button hooked me. Yeah, Pinball. Welcome to Film Vault. This better not be your first time listening because this is not how we start on most episodes.
Cupcakes.
That's Anderson. I'm Bryan, your host. For today, I'm going to bring you an assigned film that had me scratch my head.
A Skinamarink had you scratching your head is what you said?
Scratch my eyes.
Hey, Brad. I can't hear you very good.
Really? Check.
There you go.
Five.
Stay on the mic. That's all I'm saying, yeah.
And as well as you saw The Big Sexy this week. I can't believe it.
I did.
But looking forward to hearing thoughts on Exorcist Part 11.
Believer. No, it's supposed to be like a direct sequel.
Right, but it's the fourth or fifth movie made?
I think fourth. Who's counting?
Provided that, we will...
no one. Clearly no one.
No one, yeah.
We'll bring you a top 5 later this week. Top 5 unnecessary sequels.
Unnecessary.
Needless sequels.
Yeah. Hey, that could be good, could be bad.
They could be, but not all of mine are terrible. I actually had some decent ones up there.
Yeah. You might be shocked by my number one.
Oh, really?
Might be shocked.
I just looked at your list, and I can't remember what it is.
Good. Thank God. I messed up. I sent Avery my list, as I always do, and Bryan never does. And by mistake, I pushed reply all to Avery's notes email. This is all inside baseball, but I was I was crestfallen. I was really deflated when I heard that you saw my list because I could take some of the fun out of it, right?
It does, and I literally remember one film.
And then I remembered, it's Bryan that we're dealing with. You're going to forget everything. Yeah.
I've forgotten.
Which one do you?
The one that we have crossover.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you don't remember my big.
No.
My big reveal.
Big reveal.
All right, Mitch Burns. He is a listener to the program. He's a part of the program. He's a friend of the program, and he needs your help.
He's a
right?
weekly presence.
He is a weekly presence. He is baked in. So he is running for office in Canada, I believe. I think he wants to be some kind of councilman. No, that's not it.
He's the Solicitor General.
He's trying to take Trudeau's spot.
No, he needs your vote, and it's very easy. Doesn't cost any money or anything. So if you can vote for Mitch, please do so. There will be a link right at the top of the show notes there.
Yes.
And he stands to gain a few bucks. I also get a trip out here to Los Angeles and hang out with somebody I've never heard of.
Bald Bryan.
Is me?
It's not you, no.
Hey, can you tell people the site? I don't know what you on the spot, but
it is faceofhorror.org, but apparently it's a little tricky to find if you just go to their landing page. So the best way to do it is just click the link in the show notes. Right. It'll take you right there.
Good.
I don't know about this. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you can go on there and see why he deserves your vote. I imagine he does because of all the hard work he does for us. Or is it just like a popularity contest? Whoever can spread that website around the farthest is the winner. So it's just free advertisement. Is it free advertisement for this horror? What's it called?
Maybe it is.
Horror who?
Face of Horror.
Yeah, see, they're getting another free plug there. Is this just, should we do our own?
Faces of Death would be a good
No, just like the
watch-along.
Film Vault would
Faces
be like,
of
you know.
Death would
So
be a good watch along.
No, I'm not watching the Faces of Death.
I'll have to look into that.
Because some of it's real, Bryan. I don't need that.
That's upsetting.
I used to watch that when I was 12 and drunk. I don't need to watch
That's
that.
good.
What about one of the many sequels?
or the many sequels, yeah. Because one is just absolutely fake, and then they'll show you a bunny factory where they skin bunny pelts from live bunnies. And
or
I remember
a
guy just takes the bunny's skin and he just throws it against the wall, and they were sticking to the wall and then kind of tumbling down. And I'm like, that's never leaving my head.
A bit icky.
No, it's a bit. But then they had the fake ass monkey brains.
In the table.
So fake. Hey.
But the guy kills himself.
And that's real. I don't need that. I don't need that. Kind of like banned from TV with a lady running in front of the train. I don't need to see that.
Don't need it.
We're gonna. Speaking of things I don't need to see, we'll be talking Skinamarink, which is an interesting movie to talk about, just because it overtook the theaters. I shouldn't say overtook the theaters, but it had a very healthy theater run for this reason or that, and that's thanks to Andrew Potts. Andrew Potts continuing to support the program. He supports my endeavors as well over at loadedforbeardoc.com. He is one of the producers. Is on the weekly producers meetings. It's nice to see Andrew weekly. We have a good group over there. Bryan, it's go time. In less than 2 weeks, I'll be shooting the short film.
Oh, this is exciting.
I'll be shooting the short film. John Kapelos came to class and spent the entire 3 hours on Saturday getting to know some of the actors. He went up on stage and did improv with us and crushed.
Nice.
Just the sweetest guy you can imagine. I'm so happy to have him playing the lead. I've been on the phone with Eddie Levy, going back and forth, talking about his character, and as well as Keith Coogan. Keith Coogan and I we yucked it up for a while and talked about all sorts of things. And things are moving along. I got a UPM now. I've been on the phone because I'm producing the thing too. So it's just been nonstop calls.
You're responsible for it. God forbid you get sick.
Trying to find, shut up. Trying to find G&E. I think I found a G&E today, Gaffer and Electric. We're continuing to fill out various camera rolls. I think our DIT guy got locked in today. So we have a big professional crew.
Who is your best boy in Canopy Avery?
I just hired that we got swing guys, so they can do it all. They can do everything.
I'm not a swinger, so.
See, joke's on you.
It's very good. I've been on the phone a lot with the parents. So far, that's all been good.
How are my Dodgers doing?
But, okay, let's... So, yeah, if you'd like to know more about that or be a part of that, I'm not doing like a full... It might feel like I'm doing a full hard pitch, but it's not like Groupers. Groupers was like an all-out assault.
Oh,
I just had... No. How dare you? Like, I was announcing like people that gave on this show constantly and like having competitions.
Those are dark days.
It was not. It was great. They were great days. It was a lot of people wanted to be involved with the filmmaking process, and I gave them the opportunity, and they came through, and we got to make a movie.
Some people want nothing to do with it, and you're subjected to it every week on the show.
Well, we're giving them some free content here. Unless you're Patreon, and then you're paying for this content, you're paying for me to plug something else, which kind of sucks. I get that. I understand that. I can feel your pain.
You're giving you a hard time. This is exciting. Good luck. I hope everything comes together. It sounds like it's coming together fantastic.
I'm also going to be talking about the Changeling on this here episode, Brian. 1980s, the Changeling.
On Florence's recommendation?
On Florence's recommendation. Right. Oh, Florence, why'd you do that? Why would you do that, Florence? I remember seeing clips of this when I was a child and being very scared of that wicker. Rolling chair. What are they called?
Wheelchair?
Yeah.
Rolling chair.
Close. You almost said it.
But yeah, I'll be talking about 1980s, The Changeling later tonight. All horror films. I think it might be a film vault first.
What's that?
All horror films. 2 weeks from this week, we're going to be doing Better as Horror, which is one of my favorite episodes of the year. We'll be doing that in a couple weeks after I'm on the other side of the short, which is really kind of a full-time job right now and will be for the next couple weeks for me. And what else, Brian? Anything else? We throwing at the Fanfliction here? You got anything else?
I'm excited. Yeah, we got Fanfliction. We got the top 5 coming later in the show or in the next episodes. Do you want to tell people what they can expect from the show next week?
Oh, yeah. We're going to change the format up a little bit. Why is that fun?
Drop it on like a bomb.
What?
Just casual.
Oh, okay.
Take 2. Here we go.
Brian, what's going on with you? Are you doing good?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, cool.
Why?
I was just wondering. I wanted to maybe pass something by you about the show and how we're going to change it up.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to hear it. I'm in a good space right now.
All right. Well, it's called the Film Vault. We've been doing it for a long time.
You want to change the title?
No. But we've been doing it for a long time.
That's true. All this is true.
The show's about films. We talk about films every week, right?
New and old.
Yeah. And, we do reviews, right? We call that Flickfessions, right?
Indeed.
And then we also do a top 5 list.
Yes. Of varying categories.
A couple of years ago now, we decided to break that up into 2 different episodes. There was a reason behind it. Mainly, I wanted to get the Flickfessions out fresher, get them out as soon as possible, right?
Okay.
However, it has been pointed out that it's not good for the health of the show with the way that things work and algorithms and whatnot. Therefore, we are going back to the old big fat show.
Ooh, back to the one show era.
Back to one. Now, if you're a Patreon member, doesn't concern you because you've always had the big one fat show, and you get that show Wednesday. A lot of time it's in your feed Wednesday morning. So that's going to stay the same. It's going to be ad-free, continuing on for anyone at the $5 or above level on the old Patreon. If you are not one of those Patreon members, you will now be getting the big fat show, the entire show on Thursdays is when it will be released to you. So you'll be getting the top 5 a day earlier and the Flickfessions 1 day later. So it's a nice happy medium, but that way we're going off of something that was suggested by people smarter than us.
Professionals.
Yes.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
That's a good contribution.
I think that's the term.
Not since we should have a live show has everybody come through with such an insightful.
I still think about that text.
I have been right both times.
Early in the morning.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
We just get from Avery to the both of us. We should do a live show. And Brian just wrote, great producing, 0 notes.
Was I wrong?
You were not. No, you were not.
Was Avery wrong?
He was not wrong. No one was wrong in this scenario. And I was not wrong for laughing. It was very, very funny. All right.
Lots of fun.
So fun.
I'm excited to go back to the one show. I never like taking the false break. It just feels good to get it all done, and it'll be Probably just a little longer than it used to be.
No, that's absolutely untrue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's going to be probably a little. Well, I don't know. I don't know how not to flap my gums, and neither do you. So neither does Avery. I think they'll
They
be
used to putting out 2+ hours every night.
That was another reason why I did it, was because I was told that there's a barrier to entry if you look at a file and it's over 2 hours long.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, hey, well, what if we do 2 hour-long episodes?
But
break
who
them up?
said that?
Me, mainly.
But
Because I look at like Rogan, I'm like, I'm not going to listen to
but
that
you
show.
do that. I feel like most people like content.
People that like the show, but people that are new to the show will be like, I'm not going to die. I don't have time for the shit that I got in my life already, right?
They can stop listening.
Huh?
They don't have to listen to the whole thing. I mean, they can choose to bow out. But
Chop it up.
If they,
4 episodes, daily pod.
I mean, that's the other direction, which we're not going in. So, all right, let's do this.
Very little is going to change. Hey, everyone, what the people
what was
think?
that? Very little
is going to change.
Very little is going to change. Yeah.
What's good for the goose is
Good
Well
for
done.
them.
Well done.
From what I've
I don't
heard.
even think I'm saying that correctly. Fanfliction by the Mitch Burns,
Oh,
the
the new face of
aforementioned.
horror, yeah.
Yeah, the face of horror. Mitch Burns. Johnny Pomato on Facebook. More films from the New York Film Festival.
All right.
Oh, that's right. You checked in last week with a whole rundown.
Got a man on the street over here. Johnny Pomato. Hitman. A crowd-pleasing return to form for Richard Linklater. I expected yet another riff on the Grosse Pointe Blank format, but it surprises in wonderful ways.
All right.
A star-making moment for Glenn Powell. Very handsome man. That was me, not
Okay.
not
That
Pomato.
was your editorializing.
Do not expect too much from the end of the world. Follow up to Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn
Oh.
is a nearly 3-hour trek around Romania, made
no.
compelling and hilarious by its unforgettable protagonist.
Wait, can you? Is that the full
I
title?
think that's the full
or-
title. Do
so
not expect too much from the end of the world.
I like that Looney Tune. Or
Bad Luck Banging or Looney
I did
Porn?
like it was tough. The first couple acts were very tough. Like I was actually thinking, like, is this person like has they had? I seriously thought that maybe there was a head injury involved.
Okay.
And I did believe that because there
They
was
having a
so
laugh?
little going on. And then by the end, I was like, this is enthralling, and I love it. Now, it's divisive, and not everyone feels that way. But the Looney Porn, I enjoyed. Very uncomfortable.
I can tell that
Is
by the
that the one
title.
where they're
Yeah.
gathered in the square? at the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah, we
you
saw it
watched it?
together.
No, we didn't watch it together.
Not together. We're still in the same week.
Stop keeping track of when I watch movies. It's creepy. I don't like it.
Sorry.
Maestro.
Feel bad.
Oh, he saw Maestro.
Oh.
Talk to us.
Bradley
Bern-
Cooper
Bernstein's big nose.
gets
Bryan.
so caught up in the making he perceives as an unconventional biopic that it almost feels too nonspecific to make one feel that they have learned much about Leonard Bernstein at all. Bernstein? At all. Bernstein. Some very memorable scenes scattered throughout a somewhat disappointing tapestry, but it certainly has its fans. And finally,
Because, I mean, a lot of people don't know about Bernstein. So if they're not doing like some broad strokes to let us
true.
know about Bernstein, then maybe like what he's suggesting is like he was so thick into it. He's like, yeah, anyone who knows Bernstein half as well as I do is
Knows
not going to
this
appreciate it.
yeah.
So I got to like, do the nitty gritty. Like this is how he brushed his teeth in the morning.
that's
type
what I'm
thing.
there for. And finally, just got out of the zone of interest. Mere minutes ago, Jonathan Glazer might have made this portrait of daily life of a Nazi family just outside of Auschwitz a more cynical and nasty film, but it's chillingly matter-of-fact and positively stunning.
I cannot wait. I cannot fucking
Can I tell you
wait.
this? What's good for the goose, good for the gander.
It is. It's true. That's a saying I've heard, and I believe it. I tend to believe it.
I've heard it so many times I had no choice but to believe it.
Only 4 listeners saw the new Exorcist, and Mitch is the only one who liked it.
One host.
Mitch, what's the matter with you, Mitch? Oh, you didn't see it.
No.
Ah, what's the matter with you?
No interest.
It was on my top 5. One of the only 5
I was also very, very sick.
sequels I was allowed to watch. Was that this week? This last
It
week?
was
You
the
were
day
sick?
we recorded.
Oh yeah. So if you guys were
I
listening
was
closely
so
last
smug.
week,
I
Bryan.
got paid back
Yeah.
cosmically.
Bryan was very smug talking about how he got the new COVID shot as well as the flu shot.
same day.
He was like, yeah, he was doing all this, pointing to both arms. Same day. Look at me, double vaxxed. And he's like, no effect. Check me out.
Yep, living life.
I was booked to do a Lamago with Bryan the following day, and his wife, to my great concern, sent me an early morning text saying, "Hey, Bryan's not doing too well. He was up all night. Why don't you
Dude.
take it from here?"
1:30 in the morning, after we recorded the film of Florence, I woke up with severe flu symptoms, chills, aches, fever, shivering, and proceeded to throw up for the first time of many of the next 24 hours, and really spent all damn day in bed, except to get up to pee and throw up periodically.
You make it to the target every time, or
The couple of times, actually, one of the times I needed a bucket situation, but not to get, I don't know if it was gross or not. There was many dry heaving instances involved.
I don't.
Many.
I can picture that. I don't like
Like,
picturing
I can
it.
hear it.
Yeah, so can I.
It was bad.
Glasses off, probably.
Almost always, yeah.
Yeah. I don't. It's just the glasses. The Bryan glasses off is like bizarre. Take them off.
I think I've only seen
Look,
that.
it's strange.
I think I've only seen it one time.
You've seen Bryan glasses off one time.
And it was shocking. I think
Yeah.
you just got back from physical therapy.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
You got to wear a wig for Halloween. You know that, right?
Why?
Wig, no glasses.
Wig, no glasses, and just wander around.
I'm going to.
You should do that. That's your costume.
Halloween show.
Tessa has assigned me a costume, and it's a Disney character with a big blue wig.
I am so sorry. Yeah. I don't go for that shit.
Sorry, buddy.
I say no, buddy. Your dreams
What's
are
Adam
dashed.
doing? What's
He's going to be a
Adam?
Ghostbuster.
Again.
And I'm gonna be. He hasn't been yet. He not
What?
officially, not Halloween
Really?
night. He
How
hasn't
is that
been. No,
possible?
because he's always something creepy. Like he was. Like I think he had like a little costume. And he went to a school. But no, I'm gonna be a Ghostbuster there, right there with him. We're both
Really?
gonna be Ghostbusters.
Nice. Well,
Yes. So when I said
you
I
just literally
I,
derived it.
I lie. I do a lot of lying. We're both gonna be Ghostbusters. Yeah. Gio sent him a whole fucking thing. Like he's got the proton pack that's
Yeah.
like legit.
Oh, wow.
Thing weighs like 30 pounds.
Gee,
Yeah.
way more than him.
I'll be wearing that most of the night, I'd
Nice.
imagine. Yeah. But yeah, Gio sent us both a full. So
That's
it's
pretty tight.
Gio's mandating, and Atticus is he's in.
It's pretty good.
We got to go right into Exorcist now.
No, there's still more. We're not
What?
done.
I just a quick little preview. I have a horrific throw up story from my 6-year-old. It was so bad that if if our bathroom was detachable, I would have just thrown it away.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
I have
just released it.
I have not had to deal with that in all of my fatherhood until this last weekend. I will be telling those details on the after disaster because there's no place for that here. No place.
No.
None.
Gosh.
Gross.
Kyle Dorholt on Facebook, the Exorcist believer, went in with very low expectations, and it couldn't even meet those.
Oh, no.
More people saw Totally Killer, 10 reviews. Do we want to guess the FVT score?
What is Totally Killer?
No idea.
10 reviews?
Mhm.
All right. We're guessing Exorcist or Total Killer? Total Believer.
Well, we already know the FVT
Oh,
score.
yeah,
for
1
that.
out of 4, right?
Yep.
I don't even know what this movie is. I
Me
feel
neither.
bad. Well, I'm going to guess 50%.
Comedy horror film.
Oh, higher than
Totally
70.
Killer.
Well, it's out of 10. I'm going to say 8 out of 10.
We're guessing Totally Killer.
Mm-hmm.
80%.
89.
Ooh.
Totally Killer. Kiernan Shipka is great, and the script is really clever at times. But the movie also lived and died with the whole Gen Z kid being horrified by backwards 80s culture joke. Solid overall.
Oh my God! It was so offensive in the 80s. What were you guys thinking? You should all be canceled. Something like that.
That was my
Probably
favorite part of the movie.
throughout the whole movie.
Favorite part.
Running theme.
Mom, you should be canceled.
Joel Hecht on Facebook. Mr. Organ. New documentary from the guy that did Tickled.
Yes, Ferry. He's back.
Like that doc, the less you know about it, the better. And it also takes what is seemingly a minor event, and there's twists and turns.
Is it Mr. Organ? or
Mr. Organ.
Mr. Organ. Organ like
Like liver.
hearts, livers,
Oh, I thought you meant the keyboard.
spleen.
My
No.
boy Bruce Perky from Cinematics. He just sent me an email saying, "Hey, you're gonna like this." I'm like, "Great." I was willing to rent it because it's not playing in the theater near me, and then it's not rentable as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
I say, "Hey, Bruce, you saw a screener of this because you get screeners over there at Cinematics, which I co-created. I should tell you." And Bruce just replies, "Yes." Like not like here's the person that I got it from. I don't do any of my own digging and like, hey man, I have a screener because when I do a lot of the time I have to deal with publicists and whatnot. I don't like it. I don't like it. I love it.
It's not great.
No.
Matthew R. Cheatham on Facebook, Flora and Son.
Oh, we're seeing that soon next week.
What a fun, heartfelt flick. Although through Zoom, the chemistry between Flora and Jeff was adorable. And then Flora and her son, great representation of teenage angst, meets a mother who would do anything for her son. Controversial take. Need to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt in more roles. Dude's got staying power.
All right.
And finally, Landon O on Facebook. VHS 85 is the best since the first.
What? That's
Possibly
not what I heard.
my favorite overall. There's a couple shorts that are connected to each other in clever ways. Also, the director of Sinister and Black Phone has a killer short that includes callbacks to those movies, including super creepy Super 8 murder videos that look like snuff films. Highly recommend to the guys to watch this, or at least Florence will appreciate it.
I was going to say, sure to give it 11 stars.
I have not seen any of the VHS, and I should. I should have seen at least one. They're all anthologies, but I have not seen. And my boys over at Cinematics suggested this one had fewer peaks and fewer valleys than the others, so it's just more like a straight line through.
I saw 2 horror movies.
Did you? I
Yes,
saw
I
3,
did.
so I got you beat. How about that?
I saw X,
And
I saw Malignant.
Oh, you saw the Malignant? Fuck the ass.
Malignant.
Fun rides.
Yeah, very fun.
Enjoyable.
Both?
So have you
I enjoy both quite a bit.
not seen Pearl?
No, not yet.
Oh, I liked Pearl more than X.
Not more than.
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking he meant Saw X.
No,
Oh,
X.
like the
With Kid
So
Cudi,
confused.
the
Cabin
Texas
in the Woods.
Chainsaw.
Wait, I
kinda.
thought you were talking about the Vin Diesel Triple X. No?
No.
No,
I was talking
they're
Fast X.
There's
Actually,
too many X's out there.
Mia
Fast
Goth,
Yes.
X.
Okay. So
So Fast X now streaming on Peacock.
prequel. No, the sequel
Sequel.
to Pearl.
Well, it is a standalone film.
Right? Are you going to go back and watch
Most
Pearl?
contrived way to say
I know. It was kind of cool, though, because it got me. I had no idea. And I was watching X in the theater, and then they had a trailer at the end, which is where trailers used to be back
Yeah.
in the olden days. That's why they're called trailers. The commercials for movies would come on after the featured picture and show you what's coming up next week at the Pictures Cinema. And they did that in real time, and they
That's
got
great.
everybody. No one, because they kept it under wraps that they had already shot Pearl. Pretty good stuff.
That is good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for
I like
Pearl.
them both, but the Pearl's a little better.
We're not doing this, Brian. We're not gonna go back and talk about X versus Pearl right now.
Apparently, we're going to next week.
So I won't do it so now, but Brian gave away things about Malignant right at the start.
What?
No.
How could I?
No, it's different. It's,
Oh, no,
it's,
it's
he was the
well for
Vignant.
me.
He was the Vignant.
He was the Vignant.
Vignant. He was the
victim?
victim in this. Yeah.
Oh.
Apparently-
for me.
So he read on
No,
Twitter
No, it was a podcast.
he heard on a podcast of a former guest of the show, which he will not tell me who it was, talked about it. Which he just, why would you do that? That's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
Real shitty. Yeah. Hey, this week
It was still shocking
before
And
we get,
enjoyable.
and enjoyable.
and yeah, we still I got to discover I got to rediscover things because I hadn't seen it in like a year. So I had forgotten some things. I'm like, oh yeah, this is even more clever than my memory served. Really enjoyed. It was so much fun. Because like the first half of the movie, it's just like, what am I doing? Why do people like this? Why am I watching this?
Yeah, the acting felt stiff for the first. I thought it might have been. Like, is this bad?
Yeah, I was thinking bad too.
And then it gets
I'm like-
good, and then you're confused.
And then I'm like,
goodness.
clever enough, then they're
Yeah.
ticking all the right boxes
the
for me.
first hour or act or two is underwhelming, and then kicks in high gear.
The husband's pretty sweet though. Derek had a lot of good points.
This is the guy who doesn't show up when the ladies are on. All right, we're going to be watching for Tam Smith. Speaking of the ladies, one of my favorites is Tam Smith, and she is having us watch Flora and Son, directed by John Carney, who
aforementioned.
who makes movies that Brian likes, such as Once and Sing Street. He also did On
Two
the
like
Edge
those.
and Begin Again. So we will be watching Flora and Son. It's on Apple TV. A little bit
Yes,
late
Apple
to
TV
that one,
Plus.
but we'll be watching that. All right, let's get.
This woman in the poster has a skin condition.
Okay, Brian. Let's get to the movies that we saw this week. What did you see, Brian?
It's none of your business. We should start with The Exorcist.
Did you see anything worthwhile?
I saw some fun stuff.
What did you see, Brian?
I'm gonna catch up on a couple of movies. I did see a movie I thought we were talking about together. Maybe you have notes on it, maybe you don't. I saw the new Wes Anderson project.
No,
What? No,
I have not seen.
you've not seen.
Because everyone's telling me if you hate Wes, you're not going to like this.
I don't.
And I'm like, I hate
Right,
Wes,
that's
but I love
inter-
Washington.
Let's talk about it then. Well, I feel like
No. I'll talk Big Sexy. We'll get that out of the way because we got to lead with the Big Sexy. There's a movie out in theaters right now called The Exorcist. The fool that I am had this as one of the 5 movies that is a sequel, prequel, or reboot that I would allow myself to watch.
Did you really believe this was gonna be good?
Yeah, why?
I was a
why?
believer because
Because it's in the title.
David Gordon Green is the director. I liked him as a director. He's made some films that I've really enjoyed. He's made some movies that I haven't absolutely loved. George Washington, his very first movie out the gate, I really, really enjoyed that. That was a work of art. I really enjoyed that Prince Avalanche, right? What are some of the? God, let's look him up because there's many movies that David. He's kind of become a bit of a hired hand.
Did he do
David,
the new Halloweens?
he did the new Halloweens, which I did not watch. Joe, he did Joe, which we enjoyed that Joe.
What is Joe?
He was also an executive producer on Telemarketers. This guy's got taste. What is Joe? It's with Nicolas Cage. It was a lot like Mud, but it was with Nicolas Cage instead. It even had Tyler Sheridan, I believe. Taylor Sheridan? My God. Come on, Cowan.
No recollection of that.
Come on, Cowan. Hold on. Give me a second. What's his name? what's his name? Ty Sheridan. I was close. Taylor Sheridan's the writer, of course.
That's true.
So David Gordon
Ty
Green.
Sheridan, the actor.
Prince Avalanche, though, I really enjoyed that. That's with Paul Rudd and Emil Hirsch. I enjoyed that Prince Avalanche quite a bit. He also directed an episode of The Righteous Gemstones. I like this guy's. I like the cut of his jib. However, I don't know what was going on here with the old Exorcist being
Flawed a jib.
So okay, here's
Refoisted.
Here's what got me excited earlier in the year, right? The premise is this: like The Exorcist. Let's forget everything you know about the things that came after The Exorcist. This is supposed to be like a direct sequel from the original Freakin' Blatty project that everyone knows from 1973, and we're even bringing Ellen Burstyn back, and it's David Gordon Green, and I'm thinking, all right, there's some passions behind this.
So they haven't made a direct sequel yet?
They have. They did Exorcist 2, The Heretic, I guess, which involves the locusts, or maybe that's the third one. There are a couple sequels, but you know when they do that thing where they're like, all right, forget those. Those were very good. We're going to do it right. We're going to come back and do a reset. There's a lot of red flags, but I'm like, David Gordon Green. I've already said, Snow Angels. He did fucking Snow Angels. Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express, I was going to say.
But then he did The Sitter as well, as Your Highness. You know, he's up and down, but I was thinking, all right, I gave it a chance. I was excited. Bringing Ellen Burstyn back, I don't know, for whatever reason, that gave me false hope. Here's the situation. It opens up in, like, Haiti, right? Because the original opened up, like, over in the Middle East.
Middle East, yeah.
Speaking of which, I can't even fucking fathom what's going on over there. Anyways. So this one opens up in Haiti with a lot of like, okay, I see it's a young couple, and then she gets
they're unleashing a dark secret.
She meets some kind of shaman, like she's just doing the touristy thing, and she's very pregnant, and she gets like her feet spit on by a shaman, and I think that's supposed to relate to what happens later with the bad pregnancy, and it takes forever to get going, and then there's these two young girls that are friends. We flash forward 13 years, and now the girl who she was pregnant with is now 13 years old.
Where's your camera?
It's right here. It's
you're going off your actual laptop.
Why does it matter?
Because usually I have the whole camera rig set up right here.
Because he's the tech guy.
I'm glad you're listening to my review. All right. So it's killing me. And then two girls go out in the woods, and they do some kind of little seance because one of them wants to talk to her dead mom. And then the girls go missing, and then there's like a manhunt, and like this is The Exorcist so far, and I'm like getting no vibes of the original Exorcist, which I thought they were gonna be paying homage to at least. And then the possessions begin, right?
Sure.
Once they find the girls, and it's like, okay, there's some possessions, and then Ellen Burstyn shows up, and this movie's really strange because usually for me the second act is not like a lot of the time. Well, even movies I like, the second act kind of drags because it's just kind of treading water and. A lot of times just throwing scenes in just so that they can make it into a feature. It feels like this one I really enjoyed the second act, especially Ellen Burstyn coming in. She was talking about Reagan, and it felt like a real movie. And it started to get going, and we started, they
Reagan,
didn't even do
her
like
daughter.
Reagan, her daughter from the original. They even started doing the score, which was a little bit douchey, but and then the movie like falls off a fucking cliff in one instance, and I can't really talk about it without giving things away.
About it.
And then the movie, for the rest of it, is just two girls being possessed, kind of Reagan style, but we've already seen it done so much better 40, 50 years ago.
But
and
there's
it's just
two.
Like, it didn't, the double spearmint demon gum. Like,
I hate when they do that.
Didn't add anything. All right, in the original, where like, obviously, I can't believe they actually did it to begin with, where she's doing naughty things with the old crucifix over there, right?
Sure. Iconic.
Yeah, and she's like suggesting that Jesus should have his way with her, and she's like a very young girl. It's unbelievable that they made that movie. And it's unbelievable that that's still out there, especially with the Puritan ways and just how inappropriate it is. But it was trying to, the fact that the Vatican loves this movie is fucking bizarre.
Did we not do top 5 movies that would be
maybe
canceled today?
Yeah,
that's a movie that would be canceled today.
Well, they wanted to do some kind of penetration with the old crucifix,
Right.
but they did it in a very lazy, like would-be shocking way involving eyes and the one character that I actually cared about, and it just went left hard and never came close to recovering. Fuck this movie very hard. I did not care for it at all. I wasted my time, and it's upsetting.
Do you like the film?
It's a waste of energy, and I'm not sure what anyone was thinking that was a part of this.
I just got my ticket.
Just don't you feel stupid now?
Yeah.
Did not care for it. That I can say.
Is
I
it
thought
at
it'd be
least-
better.
Is it at least short?
No, I think it's like 2 hours.
Oh Christ!
Jesus.
Hour 44 maybe. Hour 51.
Oh no!
Will this be nominated for any awards?
No, nothing. There's nothing redeeming here.
Any Volties buzz?
They revolve.
You know what? Actually, let me refer to my notes for one moment here. I think there was. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, wait, I loved it.
I forgot. I wrote down here. This might be my
Dear
favorite.
future Anderson, you love this film.
A lot of like just heavy-handed shit, like with Edgar Allan Poe, with the Raven
don't say.
poems being read.
Man, I
in
understand.
class.
I've whiffed on plenty of films. What made you think this would be good? Like Ellen Burstyn being involved was the biggest
went
cash grab
Yeah.
ever.
Well, I don't know. Just the fact that she'd be willing to.
Miss
I thought maybe
Parks-
she signed off for the
She's probably
script.
in 2 scenes. She makes $1 million.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Listen, there is still promise. There is. I when it started to turn a corner at the second act, and they're looking for the girls, and then there's a scene where they find the girls, and the way it was done was very artfully done, and there was precision, and like there's no need for. Okay, here's how it happens. They're on a farm, right? And there's like I think it's a young like teenage boy who's tending to like a horse that's been injured, who's laying on the ground. Why set that whole scenario up? Like that's kind of interesting. And then he needs to go get help, and we follow the boy running from this injured horse that they had to bring out like an animal trainer to have this horse laying down in this field. It's overcast. It's beautiful. Like there's attention to detail there. Like why go all that to the? And then we follow the boy who's running to the farm to get help for the horse, and then he finds the girls like in one of the stalls. That's how they do the reveal of the girls. I'm like, you know what? Okay, now we're on to something. Now we're going somewhere. This is the kind of attention
Now
to
we're
detail.
galloping.
Like, and then there's like about 20 minutes of really interesting filmmaking and storytelling, and then it stabs off the deep end.
Oh dear.
Terrible. And I'm very mad at myself for giving myself a pass on this. Like it was a hall pass
This is
to see
this is a mistake.
a sequel. Yeah.
I'll not be seeing this.
Oh, I'm gonna be. We're catching up, so
Oh, this will be the watch.
I'm gonna assign it to you very soon.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in
Good.
time for Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas Eve. You
A
have
holiday
to watch
watch along. Yeah.
this. That'd be like the ultimate. Like if you lose so bad, you get to assign your co-host a movie they have to watch with their family on Christmas Eve. Yeah,
Wow.
That might be the worst possible option
Yeah,
for
and-
releases this year.
and you have to prove it somehow. Yeah,
Yeah, that should be a real penalty.
we're not doing that. I don't care for that.
I don't have a film list to assign you.
All right, what did you watch?
What did I watch? You didn't see the Wes Anderson thing?
I thought we went through this. No, I did not.
Okay.
Any is it good?
The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Is
Harry.
it no, it's Henry. Okay, don't worry.
You really
I really had to look at my
second-guessed
notes. It's a 2023 film, question mark, directed by Wes Anderson, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Ben Kingsley, Rafe Fiennes, and Dev Patel. That's almost in the entirety of the cast. It's very limited storytelling. So,
Right,
This
right.
is-
Tell me this off the
what's
top.
that?
My roommates drove 40 minutes out to see this in a theater in Malibu.
Ooh,
Was that a good decision?
It's like 32 minutes.
Yeah, was that a good decision?
No, definitely not.
Did your roommates find it to be a good decision? Did they come back feeling fulfilled?
They love it.
Really?
They
they
enjoy
pay
it.
full
I
price?
don't get it.
What do you pay for
I
that?
didn't even investigate. I was
Yeah.
too disgusted.
95% of Rotten Tomatoes. This is on
disgusting.
it's on Netflix. I was confused. Avery, do you know if this is part of a larger anthology? I was told.
I don't know. I thought he made.
Why didn't you read
like
more?
three?
I tried.
I thought he made like he's on contract, isn't he, for like 3 short films for Netflix or something like that?
But this is as this stands. The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is a standalone. It's not like part of a series or an anthology or anything.
Not that I'm
As
aware.
of right now, the release. Do you know?
I don't fucking know because I didn't watch it and I'm not covering it. So I'm not. Imagine me just like taking time out of my day to read about Wes Anderson. Imagine that.
Or you grilling him on Exorcist Believer.
Yeah. Oh wait, I didn't
Alright,
do that. Yeah.
here's-
yeah.
here-
I'm like, did I do that? Because I wouldn't be shocked if I did that, but I had to go back. No, I didn't do that 10 minutes.
Here's
ago.
what's good about it. The runtime. It's only 39 minutes
That's
long.
nice. We always like that. Yeah.
The set design is magnificent.
You'd
This
think
film, this exists to show off this set design. So what this is this is effectively a play. It's a reading of a dramatic reading almost of a Roald Dahl short story.
Ronald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
So Ronald missing the end. Roald Dahl. And these guys are acting out the story, but also here's the annoying part. They are speaking to the camera as though they are reading reading the text.
Wait, is Corky?
You're going to find it hard to believe.
Wait a minute.
There's some quirk here. That said, if you are to force feed yourself some Wes Anderson, this is probably the most palatable option because it doesn't like with like the Asteroid City, that was like a half-baked idea stretched over like 100 minutes. I couldn't do it after a while. This is a half-baked idea squeezed in 39 minutes, and you know what? It goes down.
Is it too late though? Because I've already been conditioned to.
I know.
And I've been saying for years, like I think Wes Anderson would work in smaller doses. Like if we had like shorts from him. Yes, to answer your question, after a very, very minimal research.
It's all I ask you to do.
I can tell you that he's got another one called The Swan coming up, which is also a short, as well as The Rat Catcher, which the woman who directed We Need to Talk About Kevin already made a feature-length film called The Rat Catcher.
Oh, that's true.
What's going on here? And then Poison is the fourth and final short that.
And those have not come out yet.
They have not come out yet.
I don't think there's a world where this is Oscar eligible. I mean, for like set design because it is magnificent. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this up for best short film. I don't make it a habit to watch all the short films, so I can't compare it. Obviously, that said, you're not going to waste your time. This is not something I'm going to grab people by the lapels and say, you must see the latest Wes Anderson effort. But this is the most I've enjoyed Wes Anderson since, dare I say, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
You know what they're going to do, I bet, before the year's over? They're going to string all these together and put them so that your roommates can go watch them in the theater again as one.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And then it'll probably be up for Best Picture as a feature.
As an anthology, like Wild Tales. That said, there's too much quirk. There's too much quirk right off the bat. Like, I don't need fucking Dev Patel to be reading a story to me first person to camera. You know what I mean?
But
like,
that's what he does. That's the West vibe. And a lot of people respond to the West vibe.
But it's overly quirky. Here's what I'm saying. It is as though I'm delivering dialogue to you that says, and then I went to the mountain and I met the man who lived there. What are you doing here? I said. He said, you know what I mean? It's that third person removed where you're literally reading and saying, I said, he said, as dialogue. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're not delivering the lines.
I understood.
You're not delivering the lines just by themselves. The context is you are delivering this prose to me.
Right.
It's annoying. Frankly, it's tiresome and unnecessary. Why? Why does that be done?
It's the Wes Anderson quirk. I think people find it whimsical.
Yes, it's a stylistic choice.
It should go on the poster. Frankly, it's tiresome.
It's purely a stylistic choice. And why do it? Unnecessary.
I mean the 4-3 aspect or whatever. I don't even know if that's 4-3. I think it's probably what do they call it? Academy aspect ratio, which they used to have, using the old phones. The old cameras. I don't know if I have time. The other ones that are coming out, the Swan, the Rat Catcher, and the other one Poison, are 17 minutes each. But there's just so much good stuff that we don't watch. Why, if we know we don't respond to this, why don't we just leave it alone? I didn't see Asteroid City for the exact same reason.
That's right. I saw myself.
That's right. We're not smart enough to understand his glory. I think we've established that. Everyone who loves him, they're smarter than we are, and we just got to move on.
That said, there's some good stuff here.
Oh, I just pissed off some more people. I'm not being glib. I'm being serious. I really think that we're mental. Brian is. He's got a tumor.
For sure.
And
I enjoyed him.
I've done a lot of drugs and drinking. So if Brian didn't get his brain tumor, and I'm not making light of your brain tumor nor Wes Anderson fan, or if I didn't drink and do the stuff that I did, I might be able to appreciate. But chances are I wouldn't because I don't think that's the problem. I think I can't. I can't. All right, let's take a quick break.
I give it a soft endorsement.
Yeah, soft?
Yeah, there's some good filmmaking.
What I heard is the best part is that it's short. Right?
That is the best.
That's what I heard. Was like I
Not
like
in the
it.
set design of the highlights.
Yeah, and I could take it in a smaller package.
The quote of the poster from me says, "Boy, does this look good, and boy, is it short."
Worth your short period of time. Totally worth
half your time.
Worth half your time.
Don't drive to Malibu for this.
Well, it depends. What if they live in Malibu? Okay.
That's true.
Malibu's the only place. Oh my God, that crowd! What are you driving into over there?
I wasn't.
It wasn't playing at Silver Lake.
No.
Silver Lake. Interesting.
Dubious.
Weird.
Dubious. All right, guys, coming up next, more Flickfessions after this. Welcome back.
All right, if you never listen to this program, you might think that we just hate movies after listening to this episode. Because
So far, nothing's been
We're like extra malignant though.
Oh no, we got the listener assignment.
I know, because now we're moving on to Skinamarink, which is not going to be a kind review. I talked to Andrew Potts, and it was actually a very nice conversation, like as it normally is when I talk to the listener who assigned us the movie. And I let him off the hook to a degree. I said, I know you, Andrew. I know you're not the type that would like this movie just because you feel like you have to. And I know that it was touching a nerve and connecting with a lot of people, and it was played in the theaters for quite some time. And I think that's part of the problem with us watching it at home. I think to get the full Skinamarink
The immersive
experience, yeah, I think you had to kind of just relinquish yourself, acquiesce to the film, which I don't know if I would have been able to do anyways for other reasons. But Brian, why don't you kick it off, and then we'll give the full review of Skinamarink.
Skinamarink is assigned to us by Andrew Potts, like you said. 2023 film, written and directed by Kyle Edward Bell. I'm not going to bother listening to the cast. That's absurd.
It's two kids.
I didn't write the Rotten Tomatoes score. I feel terrible. Was it in the 90s?
70s, I think.
No, really? I thought it was higher than that.
What isn't Avery, in between innings, why don't you look it up?
This is being billed as a horror film?
Skinamarink?
Skinamarink, yeah,
Skinamarink.
for IMDb.
This is being billed as a horror film? Anderson, were you terrified at any point?
not
By the images of
now we got a Fanfliction probably about a month or so ago, and it was Skinamarink, and it was like, there's nothing scary about this movie, but I'm terrified. Something along those lines.
Okay.
Or maybe it was like, I'm not scared at all, but something about Skinamarink is terrifying. Something along those lines. I talked to Andrew quite a bit about. Oh, that's nice. We got to stop doing the show in your garage.
I've got an
in
update
your-
on
in
the
your
scores
kitchen.
if we want to get those.
Rotten Tomato scores.
Yeah, I got RT and IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes, 131 reviews, 72%. But IMDb,
Oh my God. Why is it so important that Amazon
4.9.
let everyone know? I mean, can't you hear and see that we see you and you're right fucking there? I don't understand. What was with all the ringing, the knocking? I understand. She probably heard everything, but I mean, why?
Not since you called my babysitter super attractive.
Have you seen her since?
We have not seen her
She
since.
ghosted us.
Did she really?
She's been around.
Yeah, just not scheduled for us.
Yeah,
to-
she doesn't like to see me. You know what I mean? Like she kind of sneaks in.
because of everything that was.
Does she babysit 30-year-old men?
Not that I know of, but she's available.
A while ago, Brian's new babysitter was leaving, and then we started talking about her, and then we noticed that she was like back within earshot when we weren't saying anything like super lascivious or like
No.
locker room. It was just like about people being attracted. It was something you
People
wouldn't
being
want.
attractive.
It was something along
in
those
the
lines.
abstract.
Right. You were talking about somebody else who was attractive who used to like hang around, right?
Did I?
Yeah, that was what it was. It
No,
wasn't
I think
even
it was
about-
directly about
I
her.
think it was right.
I don't think it was.
No, because it was something about you were trying to give him shit or go, oh, Christy's pretty cool. She's letting her do
Oh,
the
that's right.
babysit-"
Yeah, like
no,
your
it was
wife is very cool.
it was
Allowing that.
explicitly. That chick's hot. Your
We didn't
wife's
say that.
My window's open.
It wasn't like, get it, Brian, get it.
That was all fair.
I'm sorry. Back to Skinamarink.
Oh boy. It's getting ring.
Your wife just slammed the door.
Yeah,
by the
right.
way, and so maybe we've made this
I
a
think we're drawing
problem
up
now.
papers as we speak. 72% Rotten Tomatoes. I just looked that up.
No,
yes.
Avery did.
That's right. Way to blow my cover. Skinamarink is Leviathan-esque, right? Like in
Well,
the
okay.
sense
Here's a no. It's not Leviathan because Leviathan's an actual documentary that
that-
it just
I
kind
just
of
meant in the style.
in the
Let
if
me,
it
back to my wife. Let me set this up.
Back to
I'm
what?
watching this film.
back
His
to my
wife.
wife.
Back to my wife. Let me
Right.
set this up. I'm watching this film, and she goes, "Oh, what are you watching?" I'm like, "Well, it's called Skinamarink." She goes, "What's it about?" I've never had such a hard question
No,
asked
it's
of me
kind of easy.
in my life.
But
No.
skin and marinks.
It's two little kids walking around their house trying to find their parents. That's all it is. It's little
You're
kids.
right. I guess
It's
I could boil it down to
what the vibe they're going for. So what it is, you don't ever see faces. You just it's just
The follow-up question is, do they ever find them?
it's just all sorts of like noisy. Imagine like if you're film or you on your camera there, you put the ISO to like as high as it can go and shoot in the dark, and you just have all of this noise, right? Which they put in all in post as well, which is kind of cheating. But
and there were a few jump scares with the sounds and the screeches.
Yeah, which were cheap. They didn't really earn them, I don't think. But seeing this in the big screen, I think you'd have a better chance of being. But I'm also one of those. Okay, so here's why I didn't. This is all of the worst parts of Blair Witch for me. Like all of like the most boring parts where nothing's happening. The vibe they're going for though is like that feeling you get when you're a little kid and you wake up in the middle of the night and you need to go like find mom or dad or something because you just had a nightmare. Now there a couple times I was accessing like, oh my god, I haven't had this feeling since I was like in the 80s as a little kid.
There is some eeriness. I will give it up and say the film is eerie at some point.
And the way it looked, and I guess it was supposed to be like mid 90s ish, which
I would have pegged it early 90s.
Andrew pointed that out. I thought it looked period at first, but then I'm like something drew me to like realize that it wasn't. But it was kind of. If I was,
it was a great length. You could see the old TV, the old tube TV, the
barely see
phone,
anything.
You know what I mean?
You got the cartoon going on, but then they would do things that were supposed to be creepy and just creating stories and making some doing production and going to films. I could just see the filmmaker's fingerprints all over this. I was never once.
You feel very manipulated
at all, and like. I'm like, oh, look, the filmmaker's trying to be creepy again. That's probably even the filmmaker actually being the demon voice that's talking to the little kid. Sure enough, like it was the director doing that.
Was it?
So there was just, I'm also like the douchey guy that can't get hypnotized. I can never like let go enough. Now, if I ate some mushrooms, right, or maybe, did something that like got me out of my head a little bit and just turn off all the lights, I could maybe have a really odd experience with this movie. I could not at all last week.
This is not a movie to see sober at home.
30 minutes in, I turned on the subtitles just because I was trying to get something. I was trying to add something
to hang your hat on.
Because they'll just be like really long static shots on the floor of like Legos. And then some of the Legos will move a little bit. Like somebody will throw some Legos into the screen. And you hear a cartoon in the background. And
like a creepy old 1940s, Betty Boop.
Yeah, and he used all of that because it was public domain. Right. So, and like Andrew Potts was telling me, it was $15,000 was the budget.
I saw that.
I don't know where the fuck that money went. I mean, Mike and
you gotta buy the film.
It wasn't film; it was digital.
You gotta buy the equipment.
You need craft services.
You already have like a camera that could shoot. You have a camera right now that could shoot these images. You got to spend a little bit of money in post, I guess, to get it with all that noise. But if you had the wherewithal, you could spend a couple hours trying to make it look like that on Premiere Pro. He used his parents' house. I don't know where $15,000 went. This might be
right up his nose.
Maybe we should look into this a little bit. Now there was a shot of a chair on a ceiling, which was by far and away the most interesting shot of the whole movie.
At some point, things started appearing on the walls that shouldn't be on the walls. Things started appearing on the ceilings that shouldn't be on the ceilings. But that kind of ends there.
Yeah.
And by the way, everything you said about Blair Witch is correct, except I feel like I should fine-tune that and say, whereas in Blair Witch, the camera is herky-jerky, handheld the whole
I'd say in
time.
the worst parts of Blair Witch, because there are shots that are locked down. There's just really, what are we looking at right now?
Oh, sure.
You know
I'm saying to someone who might be casually listening, that the camera does not move much.
No, it's mostly all static, and every now and again it'll tilt up.
Yeah, a few tilts and pans.
Did you get into did these filmmakers get their start on YouTube as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a YouTube channel that got some traction, and then they used Seed and Spark, which is what I use for groupers to raise money. And I don't know who decided it was a good idea to put it in theaters, but it was a good idea because people showed up, and it was doing pretty well there in the theaters with horror fans. I think that has something to do with it. But
is it scary? I don't understand
I can't
why.
imagine a horror fan to be enjoyed this.
If it was like an installment in like a horror like house, like a horror experience or something, and you're just walk in and it was like you hear these little kids' voices maybe and see some of the images with the cartoon music going, and it was like on all four walls,
tables on the ceiling,
and it was like maybe a table on the ceiling. It would be a weird vibe because a couple times I'm like this. I haven't thought of that feeling that I've had since I was like 7 or 8 years old, where I'd wake up kind of cold with a nightmare, and I'd have to get out of bed, and it'd be really scary walking through my house trying to get to my parents' house. My parents' room. Like I hadn't had that feeling, and it did hit me on that level for like brief moments. If I had that throughout, I would have loved this movie. But
speaking of Wes Anderson not being smart enough to enjoy or appreciate, I get that feeling about films.
We're not smart enough to appreciate.
Yeah, like
Wes
I'm
Anderson.
missing something. There's some film theory that I'm not appreciating correctly.
Well, I mean, the 572 days, like, what was that? At one point towards the end of the movie, it just says 572 days. Like, what? I'm not sure, and I don't know if the filmmaker guy. What I did read from the filmmaker was a lot of like, it's what the. I like that, it was a happy little accident that if you stare at the noise enough, like the static imagery, like the degradation of the film, like you start to, like, your eyes play tricks on you, and you start to see things in there that I didn't put there. And then he went on and on. Well, there is one shot where there is a woman standing there, and I'm the only person who knows it. Maybe the DP knows it, and he goes on and on about that. So I wouldn't put it past him to put 572 days in text on the screen, which he did for no fucking reason other than just to kind of mind fuck you.
I can see that. And also, speaking of what you said earlier, which is seeing the filmmaker's fingerprints all over it, like the decision to make it both grainy and video quality, but as an after effect, because it's widescreen, like it's very obviously shot, digital video or film or whatever.
Modern day technology.
But they should have gone the whole way and made it like 4:3, right?
4:3, and if they actually got that technology, I think that's part of what I was tapping into was like we had like a very antiquated, but at the time it was kind of state of the art like video system with the VHS tape goes on the side, and it was one of those ones where you put it on sticks, you put it like on tripod, and then the image would get burned in. So like we have Christmas video where it's of the Christmas tree, and we're around there, and then you see like one of the kids walks away, but they're still there.
They're ghosts, yeah, they're silhouette.
I think that's what I was actually tapping into, was because it looked a lot like my home videos. If they went out and got that kind of system, that would have been a little more interesting, like the Eggers brothers did with the with Lighthouse. They went out and actually got those Lumiere cameras from way back when and shot it with that technology from way back then. That would have been maybe. Also, and my final thing on Skinamarink is there is a world where I kind of love this, and it's like a 15-minute short from like the 70s or 80s that's been buried, and I found it, and there was some creepy. If you squeezed all the creepiness into that like 15 minutes, and you're not even sure, it's like a mystery, like who shot this, what is this, that kind of thing. I would love it, I think, or appreciate it a lot more than I did.
Yeah, it's a tough watch.
Hour and 40-something minutes too.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot to not see.
A couple minorly creepy things with the parents and the mom sitting there, and you couldn't really tell. But I mean, ultimately, you're waiting for a payoff, and I think it was kind of ballsy to not have one.
That's right. Maybe it's experimental filmmaking in that respect.
But even like there's a shot where he's either the boy or the girl's looking under the bed, and it just stays there for a and you're
praying for something to happen.
You're prepared for a jump scare because that's what it's setting up. And but I wasn't even like white knuckling that, which I normally do because I'm a real pab when it comes to like horror films. I don't do well with the jump scares, and I wasn't. I was just like, okay, what are they going to throw in here? Is it going to be digital? Is it going to be real? And it ended up being nothing, which I kind of appreciated. But if I was high watching this thing in the theater,
there's a way to enjoy this. Unfortunately, sitting at home and watching it, is not peak Skinamarink.
It's important that we saw it, though. I think it's one of those movies that kind of broke free and shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It was an outlier for sure, much like Sound of Freedom, which is another movie we have to catch up with for the year's over. Those are maybe two of the biggest surprise hits.
When can I see that?
I don't know.
I was talking to someone who has some insight on Sound of Freedom. The papers, basically, the contracts weren't written up well, and there's a lot of dispute over who owns the film.
Yeah, well,
and now that it's a success, they're like, I want the money from the stream.
Well, Disney owned it, right? But then they let it go.
At one point, let it go, yeah.
And then, but those let go papers, those alienation papers, aren't written up.
I think it was the problem with the producer who sold it to whatever Angel Features that released it.
Yeah.
Now there's some dispute over ownership, streaming rights.
Interesting. All right. What else you got, Bye-bye?
I don't know what else you got. You got something in the...
I have one final movie. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because I didn't particularly love it. A whole lot of nothing going on. A whole lot of... The Changeling. 1980. It is streaming various places. I was able to see this on one of the streaming platforms. Directed by Peter Medic, who I like some of his other work. Peter Medic, he directed The Craze, which I enjoyed. If you recall, The Craze, which they remade with Legends, with Tom Hardy playing the crazy.
The Craze, like the Cray brothers.
Right. He also made some other things that I think. He did the Hannibal TV series.
Yeah, you liked the Hardy playing two roles. I enjoyed the last aspects of that film for sure. The fight in the bar is great.
He directed some Breaking Bad. He also did Hannibal, the TV series, which a lot of us really liked. He did a couple of episodes on that. Anyways, here we go with the Changeling. He's an older fellow, as you might imagine. Peter Medic. Is he still with us? Peter
He's
Medic.
been directing since 1980.
Peter Medic is still around. This movie, so I thought that there was a whole lot more graphic imagery, and it's funny because this is a movie that used to come on, and we'd see the poster, and it would come on like Showtime or HBO when we were kids, and we'd dare each other to like watch as much, and we'd get really scared, and stuff would happen up in the attic. The story is this George C. Scott. He's a loving father, and he loses his wife and daughter to a horrific truck accident that happens right outside a payphone early in the movie on the street, and then it's a few years later, and he takes a job as he's a pianist and a composer.
Avery, please.
Avery, and he's a what do you call those people that teach you in college?
A pianist.
Professor.
Oh, okay.
He's a professor, Brian, and he
Didn't give me a chance to answer.
he's at first he's in this like little like apartment for whatever reason, and it's not really that well explained. But then
Well, he lost his family.
They move him to like a big giant mansion that has like a history, and there's like all this like lead up and explanation as to. You know, there's stories being hidden in there, and like I don't know, he's in there by himself, and then weird things start happening. He starts hearing the noises, and you got to think like this is after The Exorcist, and it's similar to The Exorcist, but not nearly as horrifying with it.
Okay.
And you go up into this, he finds this attic, and there's a very very creepy wicker chair in there, wheelchair,
Really
and there's
good.
all
Rolling chair.
an impossible amount of cobwebs, like the amount that you have on your front step right now, because it is
decorative.
yeah, and creepy noises, and then they have a seance, and it's just a lot of mind of the imagination until the end, and then everything kind of comes to a head. But ultimately, I was never really scared. It's a much bigger movie than I thought, though. I thought it was a smaller B-type movie with like effects and whatnot, and it was not that at all. It was
George
more
C. Scott was an A-lister at that point.
he was, and it was always fun watching George C. Scott. He always chooses scenery, and
True.
you could tell he's just a curmudgeon, just an angry fucking dude.
Didn't want to be there.
No, you could tell, like, but that was kind of what his character was supposed to be
great.
as well, to an extent. But there's some intrigue, some mystery as to like why, and it's called the Changeling. Ultimately, that is answered, and kind of hokey. I could not get on board for this one. Now, if I saw it all the way through when I was a kid, maybe that'd be different.
Does the wheelchair come into play?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we see a remote control wheelchair quite a bit by the end.
Well, is there anyone else of note in this film?
I did get the chills at one point in the movie.
The window was open.
There's a scene where his daughter, the last bastion of his daughter, the last thing that she held close to her, the last tangible thing that he had of his daughter, for whatever reason, I don't know why. It's not like their house burned down, but it was like this ball that she had, I guess, and like that reminded him of his daughter who was tragically killed. And the ball
Was he on the phone when they died?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The car breaks down, and they're on the side of the road in
okay.
the snow. That's how it opens up, and then he's on the phone getting help, and then the truck comes out of fucking nowhere, and another car is involved, and they veer off the road and kills the daughter.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's
sad.
terrible. Yeah, it hurts, right? Especially as
Yeah. As someone who has a daughter.
or a kid at all. You can feel his pain. You got the heartstrings are being pulled there, and they earned it. And I fell for this guy, but then, okay, now you're dealing with a dead kid in the attic. I don't really. So there's the ball, right? That came into play a couple times, and it's showing up a few times. And he's like, I need to get rid of this fucking ball. So he goes and he goes to a bridge. It's all shot in Seattle too, which is kind of cool. Scenes like late '70s Seattle. And he goes to a bridge and he drops off the ball into the water, right? And like there's the sound down there, and goes home, and he's in this big creepy mansion, and he hears boom, 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 and he looks, and coming down the dark stairs is the ball. Not just the ball, it's wet.
Oh,
Excuse me,
it's
that gave me
been
chills.
fished out.
That gave me chills. Who's bringing that thing back? So yeah, I think that you really had to like be into the mystery of it and the solving of the mystery, which I didn't care much about. What was I going to tell you? I was going to tell you something else about the Changeling.
Anyone notable in this film besides George?
George is the we got Trish Van Devere.
You just say no.
I mean, I'm not good with names and people. We got John Calicos, Melvin Douglas, of course.
Isn't John Calico singing short?
Barry Morse. No, it's John Capelos.
Pretty
Close there, Brian. We got old Ruth Springford. A lot of names a lot of faces you've seen these people before,
Sure,
but
sure.
yeah.
Is the director still with us? You were looking that up.
I believe he is. IMDb is just not as good as it used to be. Like sometimes they have like people that are no longer with us, but they just don't show us like birth date or death date anymore. They just leave it to interpretation.
Leave it to a guess.
No, he was born in 37, so
Ooh, he's pushing it.
he's fine. He's good. He eats vegetables and stuff.
Yeah. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm. Oh. That's all it takes.
Been doing it wrong all
Christmas
these years.
baby, born December 23, 1937. They director Peter Medic. All right, let's rock.
All right, guys. Thank you for downloading and listening to the show. Coming up next, we will do the top five unnecessary sequels, needless, pointless sequels with the top 5 this week. Until next week, when we're all unified in one glorious episode. Oh, so good.
The marriage is back.
I see your list.
Brian, stop looking at my list. Son of a bitch. What are you doing?
I disagree with most of them.
He directed Species 2.
Oh.
Oh, needless. Needless.
Why does it exist?
Why does Species 2 exist? How many people were actually clamoring for another species?
That's one of my criteria. We'll get into next week or next episode, but one of my criteria was who's asking for this?
Yeah.
Who's this for?
Right.
Who needs this in their life?
All right. Yeah, I came across in my research a lot of sequels to big movies I had no idea even existed.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Andrew Potts, for assigning us film. We didn't love it. Sorry about that, but we appreciate you being a part of the show.
We had to have seen it. I'm glad that we saw it. So Thank you very much, Andrew, for forcing our hand.
Thanks to the Dead Ships. They are featured artists this week. Check them out. AndersonandBryan.com. AndersonandBryan.com is where you go for all of your Film Vault needs to vote for Mitch Burns as the new face of horror. To tap the Amazon banner and see all sorts of fun stuff, including our listener art, which you can see up there. The feature art. No, listener art. Sorry. I was right. Anderson and Bryan is the Instagram. Anderson and Bryan is the TikTok. The Film Vault on Twitter and Facebook. And YouTube, the Film Vault podcast. Thanks, Eric Kath, for maintaining that YouTube page, said YouTube page. Mike Cole, Giovanni, and Mitch Burns, the new face of horror. Thank you for helping with the show. Appreciate you. Thank you to all of our Patreon listeners. And what's up with you? Anything you want to put before we go?
Loaded for
Franco.
Loaded for Bear Doc.go.
Well, you know what you can see, too.
Yeah.
Comedy Confessional.
Comedy Confessional.
Oh.
It's
This
happening
Friday.
on my anniversary. As much as I would love to come out, Jillian said that we can't do anything on our anniversary. We
That's
just have to
fair.
Stay home. Yeah.
That's fair. But you can check that out in the show notes. I'll have a link. You can get tickets. It is in Santa Monica. Show starts at 8.
October
And,
13th.
It's a good time.
Highly
Friday
recommend.
the 13th.
Yes,
October
Friday
13th.
the 13th.
Santa Monica. Highly recommend. Free
Lot of fun.
parking. And it's a lot of fun.
Yes, we draw anonymous confessions from the audience. The comics riff on it. And last time there was a 70-year-old couple who got to hear all about threesomes and fucking in public. So it was
They
a fun-
already knew.
I don't know if that's
They
why.
already knew.
We get crazy over there.
Just seeing Avery and just how what a stage presence he is. He really is. Like I was really impressed, Avery. I didn't know. I didn't know what his persona. I had seen the video, but you prepare for that a lot. So I thought maybe you were kind of like putting yourself up there, puffing yourself up a little bit just for the video. No, he controls. He does crowd
He's the master
control.
of ceremony.
He's really, really good. Yeah.
Right.
So I would highly recommend going and checking out Avery.
Anderson and Bryan is where you go for information on that. And until next time.
We do it for Van Gogh.